Terry Bradshaw, can fuck right off. All
That's right.
I didn't know how hard I was going to go with Terry Bradshaw here with what he said. He called Aaron weak, I think. He said he's so weak because he got upset. And I forget, he also said he's dumb as a box of rocks or something. Terry Bradshaw said about Aaron Rodgers.
Pot calling the kettle black.
Whoa. Okay,
Yeah,
listen, this is just like the May the 4th thing. Don't need to be taking shots at anybody else, although somebody's taking a shot in this particular stance. So we would be sticking up for somebody by taking a shot back at him. We don't have to question Terry Bradshaw's intelligence, okay? The man's been on TV for a long time. I think he has private planes. He's made a football living at a very high level for a long time. I think we can all appreciate and respect that. He goes from winning Super Bowls for the Pittsburgh Steelers to never talking to the Pittsburgh Steelers again, but also maintaining a football career for also like 4 decades at this point. A lot of people love him. He has a massive role on that Fox NFL Sunday show. But it feels like when he opened his mouth here about Aaron Rodgers, I've never seen somebody look like a bigger hypocrite or fucking idiot. That legitimately, now granted, I'm sure I have, and this is me potentially living in the moment, but there's no reason for Terry Bradshaw to bury Aaron Rodgers like this, okay? Terry Bradshaw has been through some beefs and things, especially with the Steelers organization, I do believe. He's come out and said some things that have been blatantly wrong about people because of personal feelings. So, I don't think Terry Bradshaw is a human that should feel okay talking about this situation, but I do have respect for the career that Terry Bradshaw has had, so I'm kind of torn on this thing. Did not expect this from Terry Bradshaw, I think. Maybe I should have. I'm not 100% sure, but it just feels like there's people now attacking Aaron, and everybody's thinking, well, Aaron wanted this out. I don't think Aaron wanted this out. I think this is legitimately not Aaron's, hey, I want the public to know about this, but I do believe there is some real passionate shit happening behind the scenes. I mean, it's obviously being documented, but I don't like the thought of other people who don't know the entire situation. If they were in that situation, I assume they would be pissed as well, coming out and talking about it now. This is a fucking weird time to kind of be an Aaron Rodgers fan, I think.
Well, and I don't know, you look at the stuff, it's like, it's kind of what you go back to say about, granted, he is a legend and everything, but these old guys talking about how the game, it's like, guess what? Now guys elite quarterbacks, they do have a say in personnel decisions. It happens around the league. So to use that as the lynch point of his argument why he's weak and everything. I mean, shit, Terry Bradshaw got lost trying to find our set at Radio Row. So I mean, I don't know. He's still looking. So I don't know if he should be the end all be all on this. But it is just, it's interesting. It kind of just seemed like it was out of nowhere.
Yeah, because there's been some quotes from older quarterbacks that show up in places that we would never expect, and we're like, well, what the fuck are you doing? Why? Now, Terry is associated with the NFL,
right, so
obviously every single thing that he says has a lot of weight behind it as well. So whenever he says stuff like this, it kind of, it just makes me go oh, I fucking hate that guy, I guess.
Yep.
But maybe he has a reason to feel this way. Maybe him and Aaron have a certain relationship. I have no idea. I don't know anything about that. But this Aaron Rodgers situation, this story, it is not slowing down.
If you're Green Bay, would you go to a place like the Chargers or the Bengals who have a young quarterback in Burrow and Herbert and be like, hey, let's do this. You want Rodgers?
Imagine Tom Telesco.
Yeah.
Tom Telesco would be like, I love Herbert. I fucking drafted Herbert. We're staying with Herbert. Aaron fucking Rodgers. I mean, he could play another 6-7 years, this guy. He could play another 7-8 years, maybe, however long he wants to. It feels like he is taking care of his body. This past year, he said it was the best he's ever felt. We see Tom do it. Yeah, because teams have to start thinking like this, which, by the way, is even more painful to think about as a Packers fan, I would assume. It's this isn't just like when Peyton went, and everybody assumed, 2 years or whatever. It was 3, I think, altogether, maybe 4, whatever. If he plays another 6-7 years, I mean, my career was 8 years. Okay, if he plays another 6 years or whatever, which he could, he's 36 or whatever, he could be 42, very easily do that, especially with how he plays and how athletic he is and how smart he is and how live his arm is at 36. I mean, you're staring down maybe the actual future of a franchise as well, as opposed to the short term. This is just short term. It's like, what is long term? Is 6 years long term? That's a fucking long ass time.
Long time.
That's a very long time. That would be absolutely amazing for anybody, you'd think, at this point. Now, I'm not saying Telesco would do it.
No.
Justin Herbert would be one of those situations you assume not happen.
Because they got 17 years with him.
Yeah, but there's a lot of GMs that are thinking out there we could. Shanahan, I guess, did call out.
Yep.
I was going to say.
Shanahan did call LaFleur, I guess, and LaFleur said, you're wasting your time. Because Shanahan said in an interview, I think it was with Rich Eisen, he said, if we were to wake up on Friday morning and learn that Aaron Rodgers was getting traded or whatever, we would have felt very dumb for not doing our due diligence. He said he called LaFleur. LaFleur said, no, that ain't happening. And he said, okay, sounds good. He moved on. So the Packers said only one team reached out. Was it that call, or was it another call, or the Packers lying? Our team's not really thinking it's real. Now you have to digest all that information.
I thought they were lying because I think Gutekunst came out and said nobody's called. There has been conversations about Rodgers getting traded, but from what it sounds like, that Shanahan call might have been real quick. But do you think they would move like Lance if it does become a point where it's like, okay, now we have to trade him. They have a quarterback who hasn't played any games yet, and clearly the Niners want him.
There was people that I have respect for tweeting and stuff like that immediately after the Broncos pick, Surtain, I think, right?
Yeah.
They were like, do you think the Packers potentially told them to draft Surtain and that type of thing? Like, there's people that think that if there was conversations happening for Aaron Rodgers, that there was a chance like, okay, we have do you want the number 3 overall pick? And they're like, no, we're not there yet or whatever. And they're like, well, if we were, what, like that was being talked about on Twitter. And that, I think that's massive. Obviously, the fact that the NFL is so large and that conspiracy could even happen is hilarious. But it's like people were thinking that in depth that teams would be willing to do whatever to get Aaron in there. Just like I thought teams would be willing to do whatever to get Tom Brady in their building. I might be wrong again, and maybe the reports are wrong last year. But if you get that person in your building, which, once again, this stinks to listen to as a Packers fan, I would assume. You get that person in the building, everybody's better because they're like, oh, we got a guy that can get us there. So if we don't get there, it's not that guy's fault. It's probably our fault. Yeah. I'm not going to be the reason. So the extra reps, the extra film study, the better eating habits, the sleeping, everything is heightened by everybody if you got a guy. The equipment managers, the athletic trainers, the media people, everybody, everything is up because it's like, hey, we got a goddamn guy. I got a chance to watch Peyton operate. And he made me a better punter, and we have nothing in common in position of what we do at all, you know? He made everybody better. He made equipment managers want to be better at their jobs because of it. It's like, oh, we got a guy. Then when Andrew came in, we got a guy. I hear stories from other places, and people are like, oh, this happens. I'm like, why? Why was it? And I started thinking about it. I think it's because there isn't somebody at the main position that is like, hey, this is how we do it. This is where we're going. Don't fuck around. You can have fun, but let's go ahead and win. It changes everything. It changes just the course of the way everybody operates. I assume Tom Brady was wanted by every team. It came out that was not the case. It worked out for Tampa pretty good. Hopefully I won't be wrong about this one either. I'd assume there's 25 teams that are like, we should look at having Aaron in our building. Everything gets better when you got a guy. And when you don't got a guy, life sucks for everybody.
Yep.
All for long time. You might get lucky and get a couple wins because you're scheme or you're something like that. But if you don't got a guy, you're fucked. And everybody knows it.
And to your point, like that's the part that sucks the most is it's not like he's to the point where it's like, okay, he said he can see a whole 18, but it's not like, this is just going to be like a stopgap for 2 years and then he's done. Like he legitimately could play another like 6 to 8 years, like have a full career at another place. And that's just like, I don't know. It's just wild to think about. You just never thought that things would get to this position.
Might be his best football.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning broke all of his own records the year after he left and went to Denver. Tom Brady threw more deep balls or whatever than he ever has since maybe Randy Moss or whatever. Yeah.
It's won a Super Bowl.
It's
worst case scenario. I mean, I can't. I was sitting where he was last year.
It's not happening,
terrible.
You were saying, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course not.
There was hope that he'd
There's
come
no
back.
way. He's definitely. Now it's at the point today where we know Belichick and Brady were fucking.
Could you imagine Terry Bradshaw, though, calling Aaron Rodgers dumb as a box of rocks?
Oh, man.
Imagine Aaron and Terry Bradshaw talking.
Yeah, I mean, Terry Bradshaw's a moron.
They should just go on Jeopardy together.
Terry Bradshaw's smarter than me. Okay, Terry Bradshaw's smarter than me. He's been able to work.
See, that's bullshit. Yeah, you don't. That's bullshit. No, he's not.
But I'm just saying, he's smarter than me. What Terry Bradshaw and I would be very similar, I think.
Terry's smarter than me.
I think we don't know this. Terry has been successful for like 30 years now, okay? Not off of his football accolades, by the way, just by the way he's been able to operate. So let's assume business-wise he does have some sort of brain or somebody's with him, he's some sort of intelligence. But Aaron is one of those dudes who's just like, He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
He's an alien.
Like, he's an actual smart guy. Like, hey, that guy's a super smart guy. Like, hey, I understand you and me, maybe. You might be above me, by the way, smart-wise, whatever the case is, we're here. But Aaron's one of those fucking guys. He's like one of those he's one of our smarts we have in this entire thing. So the dumb of the box of rocks, if you're going to go after him, I would put that one back into the holster, and I would pull out another one that maybe has a little bit more relevance to the certain situation you're in.
Like